Once again, I want to welcome all our old friends and all of our new friends to the happiest day of the year for NAFE. So wishing you all a happy Top Companies Day. I wish that you could see what I see standing here in front of this room, packed with executives from a diverse array of industries. I see a full sea of female faces and of the fabulous and loyal fellows and other friends who are standing with us here to celebrate the NAFE Top Companies. As I was thinking about today, I had a few lines from Shakespeare that were playing in my head for weeks. There is a tide in the affairs of woman, which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. On such a full sea are we now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves. It's been echoing in my head. Today, we celebrate NAFE's 40th birthday. For 4 decades, we have served women as ally, advisor, and advocate. And during that time, we have seen a sea change for women. In this room, we are such stuff as dreams are made on. Starting this morning, we had our meeting with 50 of your most powerful women in that room back there. Now, hundreds in this room. 2 blockbuster women CEOs coming up on our program, and then culminating as we raise our cups to celebrate the companies where women succeed. Of such companies did we dream? An armada of excellence in a rising tide of women leaders, leaving your competitors in your wake, this room. NAFE's mission is women's business success, and today we have come to praise you. So, let's start. What makes a NAFE Top Company? Having the numbers is really critical. First, you have to have 2 women on the board to even apply for our list. And then we look at the percentage of women on board. We look at the percentage of women in the C-suite. We check the percentage of women at the next level down, and particularly of P&L officers, also in the senior ranks. Then we look at programs. We look to see if the training is going on. We look to see if women are being put on succession plans. How important is that? And we look to see if accountability is running all the way up to the board level. Now, a drum roll, please, and I give you the best in class of the 2012 NAFE Top Companies. First, for women on boards. I am happy to report that 2/3 of the NAFE Top Companies have 3 or more women on the board. 3 is considered to be critical mass, where minority voices are heard and contributions really start to happen. So kudos to the companies on this list, particularly the New York Times, WellPoint, Macy's, P&G, Kraft, Texas Instruments. They've made this a deliberate endeavor. Women CEOs lead 5 of our top companies. And this is an interesting little factoid. Did you know that companies run by women CEOs pay higher dividends? Now, some really interesting news. How about this? Women are more than half of the top earners at Walmart and Northern Trust. Go for it. And look at what DuPont has done. Though women are just 26% of employees, they are 34% of senior managers. That is fabulous. And they're a science company. IBM and Kraft have been closing that gap. They're down to 2%. That's excellent work. And there's worthy progress at the other companies here on this list. I won't read them all, but you're coming up. You've closed the gap to 5%. We have 5 great companies with women running half or more, of the major profit centers. This is a first for us to have 5 companies. Brava, Johnson & Johnson, General Mills, Mass Mutual, Northern Trust, and Bristol-Myers Squibb. I'm sure you're already reaping the profits from having women in charge. Who's got strong pipelines of P&L women? Well, accolades to those breaking the 50% mark: Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and Northern Trust. Now, this is why NAFE matters. We measure. When we first asked companies for their P&L numbers a few years back, not one company was tracking it by gender. And now you do. What gets measured gets done. NAFE matters because these numbers at the Fortune 500 haven't moved in 5 years. Women are only between 15 and 17% of key positions, as Irene was mentioning earlier. And where the rubber hits the road, the P&L jobs, at the NAFE Top Companies, women hold about 1/5 of these positions. It's estimated to be about 13% at Fortune 500 companies. There is more work to be done. Shouldn't we aim higher? Well, you in this room are just the ones to do it. Here today we have CEOs, presidents, and C-suite titans. You can do this. And we have the women of the NAFE Roundtable. This morning, over 50 of your top women met in that room over there, rolled up their sleeves, and conceived plans for priming the pipeline for women to advance. Join me in saying thank you for the hard work that they did this morning. Thank you for the hard work that you did this morning, and thank you for your commitment to the women's success in this room and the women back at your companies that you're going to work on for tomorrow. For the NAFE Roundtable, twice annually, we invite every company that's on the list of top companies to send one P&L executive to come share strategies for women's advancement. Why P&L women? P&L people decide what products you make and what services you sell. They hold the power of the purse. They have the power to influence their peers, who have the power to promote. So here are some of the accomplishments of the NAFE Roundtable over the last 10 years. My favorites are the last 2, mentoring their customers and their suppliers on putting women on their company boards, and setting goals with their peers for women's promotions into P&L roles. Very amazing work that these women have gone back and done at their companies. Today, they worked on closing the sponsor gap for women. Everyone needs a sponsor in order to move ahead, to push them ahead for opportunities. Men do it for other men all the time, but not so much for women. So talk to your roundtable representative. You saw who she was when she stood up, and join forces with her back at your office, because there's work that you can do together and for each other. Because there is a global tide, and the NAFE Roundtable is but one ship surfing it. We're watching as more women join Europe's corporate boards. We're watching as a woman leads the International Monetary Fund and is working to restore global economic security in the world. We're watching more women presidents and prime ministers as they move into office. Check this list out. At an event in New York earlier this month, we watched the Kosovo president, Yahya, who declared that what women bring to leadership is absolutely essential to solving our serious global problems today. Also at that conference, we watched as woman after woman came on stage and talked about the global waves that she is making: stopping sex trafficking, educating girls, building micro businesses, work all around the globe that women are doing. And what we notice is that as women rise, they use their power to lift the lives and the careers of other women. NAFE senses an undertow of urgency in this rising tide. Secretary of State Clinton called the subjugation of women anywhere in the world a national security threat everywhere in the world. Very important to keep the women rising. Nicholas Kristof of the New York Times called gender equity the moral challenge of our century. And practically speaking, it's just dawning on us that the world's women are a huge emerging market. It is, in fact, twice the size of India and China combined. There is a tide which, taken at the flood, leads on to fortune. So let's book that fortune. What do you say? I propose that we set an exciting but achievable goal: percentage parity between your women employees and your women managers by 2015. I hope you will think about making that happen. And for those companies who are already there, this is nothing. 30% of women in your P&L jobs, 30% of senior managers across the board. There is a tide, and the current serves, my friends. What actions will you take to take advantage of time and tide? What breakthrough results will we celebrate here next year that today lie just beyond the horizon, just beyond your expectations, just at the edge of imagination? Know that NAFE will serve to keep the wind at your back for as many years as it takes for your companies to reap the full potential of your fabulous women. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening, and we look forward to seeing you and hearing about your breakthroughs next year.